Greetings everyone, Jonathan here from Plagiarism Today, and today I want to go back to what I was talking about on Monday and talk about Metallica being in Spotify. I mentioned Metallica in the context of their appearance in Spotify on Monday, but in that one time I was talking about how Metallica didn't kill Napster, and like every headline about Metallica being in Spotify was completely wrong. But that being said, it's actually time to revisit the issue of Metallica itself joining Spotify, joining the streaming revolution, if you will. And I've been reading a lot of the coverage about it, and I've got friends who are very, very pro-music industry. These are people who are staunch pro-copyright guys, and I have people who have different copyright ideologies, we'll say. And I've been sort of reading what they've been saying and taking it in, and it's either like the best thing that happened to Spotify, or the best thing that ever happened to music, or the worst. Because Metallica has this symbol of being, rightly or wrongly, being the symbol of being anti-internet, anti-digital. And here they are allowing their music to be in Spotify, sort of the cutting-edge streaming music service, the cutting-edge business model for the music industry. And that is seen by many as an endorsement of Spotify and what it represents and what it can do for artists. Artists, especially the ones I talk to and know, are very upset about this. They viewed Metallica as like the last holdout against free music, the people who fought the good fight against Napster, the people who, took it to Sean Parker and company and won that battle and have staunchly, held their ground against this idea that music should be what they perceive as a concept that music should be devalued, and is being devalued through services like Spotify. And here they are joining Spotify and being on stage with Sean Parker and making peace and all that stuff, and they saw it as a great betrayal. It hurt them deeply, and I can understand that. I mean, as one of them put it to me, it's very different to join Spotify and let your music be in Spotify, and another to do the whole song and dance and being on stage and shaking hands and making peace and all that. There's two very different things there, and perhaps they've got a point on that one. They probably actually do. But that being said, I've thought about it a lot, and it seems like what people are saying is that this is an endorsement of Spotify, that Spotify is a practical business model of Metallica, the master businessmen. I mean, criticize the music all you want. They are master businessmen when it comes to the music industry. If they are joining Spotify, then it's obviously an indication that this is the future and it's a business model that is viable for musicians. But I say not yet. The timing of this change was not coincidental. Metallica decided to allow its music into Spotify right after, or at least not long after, it obtained the rights to its masters. Basically, through contract negotiations and wrangling, it was able to get all the rights to its master recordings, and as a result of that, they founded their own record label, Blackened Records, and that label in turn is licensing the music to Spotify. Now, it's pretty impressive they were able to get the rights to their masters back. As anyone in the music industry knows, you have to be a very, very important artist, or at least a very, big name, to be able to sort of negotiate or have the leverage to do that. But the fact that they joined Spotify after that took place isn't coincidental at all, because traditionally Spotify pays record labels in turn pay the artist, and Spotify already allegedly doesn't pay very much to the labels, who actually own a stake in Spotify, and the labels in turn don't pay much of that to the artists. So there's this trickle down where, sort of very little money reaches the record label, and even a tiny percentage of that reaches down to the artists. The artists feel like from Spotify they don't get paid, because many of them don't. They get all these plays in Spotify and they never see a dime from it. The record label does. The record label gets its cut, but the artist doesn't, and that's the main accusation artists have against Spotify, and it seems to be a pretty fitting one in most cases. Metallica's case, of course, is different. Since they are the record label, they're getting all the money. This turns Spotify into a pretty steady stream of income, and even if it's not all that much per play, they get to keep it all. It's all theirs, and so for them it makes sense. This is a stream of revenue that's basically free to them, hands off. They don't have to do anything other than collect the checks and deposit them. So yeah, it made a lot of sense from a business standpoint for Metallica to do it, but doesn't make sense for other musicians, and it gets more dubious. If you don't have control of your master recordings, if you are not, the record label and the copyright holder in every sense of the word, may not. If you don't hold control of those master recordings, it may not make sense to be in Spotify, honestly. At least not right now. So that's a decision every musician has to make on his or her time. They have to weigh the benefits of being in Spotify versus the risks of not being in Spotify versus the benefits of staying out of it and the risks of staying out of it. So you have to weigh that case by case, artist by artist, genre by genre. But the bottom line is, once again, as with Psy and what we were talking about yesterday, Metallica is the exception, not the rule. It's very rare for an artist to be around 3 decades later, still be relevant, still have a back catalog of hugely popular music, and have the leverage to get its master recordings back. That's extremely rare, and if any other musician is banking on that being their long-term business model, I think they're going to be very disappointed. On that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining me. Until tomorrow, this is Jonathan Bailey signing off.